Associate Principal here at Tybee, and we are going to record this. So just so you know that as well, this will be recorded and put on our website for people who weren't able to join at our 12 o'clock. We also have Mr. Gramella in here. So Jimmy Gramella is our testing coordinator for the district and also here at Tybee. And so he and I together are going to kind of work through the AP exam information, timelines, but in the end, when it comes to payments, Mr. Gramella is the one who takes all of the payments for the AP exam testing. So if you're in this meeting, you should have a child that's in an advanced placement course. So that starts with World History AP, our sophomore level, and then junior and senior level. There's really just a wide variety of those courses. And we're going to talk about the timeline for the exam ordering. So the first step that has to happen for exam ordering is that our students have to join their AP class. And so they've done that with their teachers already. When they join their AP class, it gives them access to resources through College Board on their MyAP. It also allows them to sign up for the test. And so they are automatically signed up at that time for the test, and then we can still make changes, but when they join the class, it signs them up for the test for the class they're enrolled in. There are sometimes some problems with College Board accounts. Sometimes students have multiple accounts. There's a variety of reasons that can happen. There's times in the past where maybe a parent has created the account and then the student can't remember the login, so they create a different one. But you really, at this point in high school, want to make sure your student only has one College Board account because it's eventually going to tie into SAT, and some testing for college entrance and things. And so if your student had problems joining a class or with their login, all of that would have been resolved with their teacher during class. So right now we've had everybody successfully join their AP classes and currently are enrolled on the online course and registered for the test. All right. And again, we still have some people coming in, so we're going to admit them. If you're just joining us, this is recorded, so we will have the whole thing posted, but you're coming in at a good time. So last year, obviously in March, we had a whole shutdown, and that created College Board to release some additional resources. And so when we think about should my child take the test or not take the AP exam, what we would tell you is if they're sitting in the class, they're going to be prepared for the exam. And that's probably true now more than ever because College Board has released resources to our teachers and our students, such as the AP daily videos. So those are live video lessons. So even if your student is a virtual student, they can get access to some of those live lessons and what's happening by AP teachers. They've also, we have some online personal progress checks, which are just kind of check-in progress points, and teachers can look at that data and make adjustments to instruction. If they see areas their class is struggling, they need to go back and reteach, as well as question banks. So College Board has released question banks of practice AP questions that are used in the classroom. And so our teachers are very familiar with all these resources and implementing them. They're going to implement some of those at different times in the year, but they are focusing on pacing and alignment that should lead students to be successful there on that exam. And of course, there are benefits to taking the AP exam. So in general, a student who earns a 3 or higher on an exam is going to perform well in subsequent college courses. So in that area or in that content area, it's really setting them up for success there. It also helps them have a successful first year of college. So there's lots of research and data tied to the rigor of AP courses. And if you can perform on the exam at that college level, it's also going to make you more likely to kind of get through the college time in 4 years, which is not necessarily the norm for students these days to get through college in 4 years. And then receiving college credit, obviously an added bonus because you are getting those college credits and those hours for a pretty reduced price of the exam. That varies by college. So we'll be real transparent on that. If your student is a sophomore, they may not have as much of an idea of where they want to go to school. If your junior or senior student knows kind of their top 5 choices, then you probably really want to look at those colleges and see what their policy on AP exams are. So some of our private universities have standards that you have to have a 4 on that exam, or if it's tied to your major that you're going in, it counts more as an elective instead of that core content. So it's just going to vary really by university. And so that's something you want to look into. 3, 4s, and 5s are traditionally earned as the college credit, so a 3 or higher, but you want to look into your university. And then also there's a link right there you can see. You can, take a quick picture of that or come back and watch it. And College Board will let you search by school. And so you can kind of search by colleges and universities there as well to see how they have it set up as far as AP credit. And that is really useful. So for us, the AP exam timeline is in the fall. And so we order in the fall. It is $40 is the down payment per exam, and that's due October 9th, which is coming up pretty soon. And the reason College Board has, if you have an older student, in the past, several years ago, it was a spring ordering timeline. They moved it to the fall. Really, the benefit for that is that students are typically more invested in the course. If they have that buy-in, they have the exam at the end of the course. So they're going to put in more effort and really just be willing to kind of engage in the curriculum there in hopes of taking that exam and getting the college credit for it. All right. So our exam fees, it's $95 for the first exam. So it depends on your student schedule. Some of our kids are enrolled in more than one AP course, and some choose to take a test for a course they're not enrolled in, and we can talk a little bit about that as well. But that timetable there, and they'll show you kind of the payment schedule is more what that is. So $95 for the first exam, $50 for exam 2, $50 for exam 3, and then it goes down to $40. If your student qualifies for free or reduced lunch, it's $30 per exam is what that is. And Mr. Gramella, this gets posted on our website pretty soon after this presentation. Is that correct?
That is correct. If not today, definitely by Monday or Tuesday of next week.
Perfect. So some of the resources we're going to show you today on the screen, you're welcome to snap a picture of, but just know also we will add them to the Tybee website so that you can go back and reference as well. So again, just kind of the sample there of if you have a student taking 3 AP exams, the total would be $195. So you're paying $40 as a down payment per exam. So on October 9th, it would be the $120. And then the balance of that $75 would be due in February. So we do the first order with the down payment of $40 by October 9th, and then we come back in February for the remaining balance.
And you can pay the full amount in October if you want to. You don't have to just do the down payment and then the rest in February. You can do all of it at one time if you like. Perfect.
Yeah, absolutely. We have some parents that don't want to have to keep track of what they owe in February and just decide to pay it all in October. That's perfectly fine as well. Cancellation and late orders. This year, College Board has also changed that a little bit as well. So after November 13th, which is kind of the final fall deadline, we can add or cancel through March 12th. So there's still some flexibility there. Late orders or cancellations with a second semester or students who move in or transfer in, there's no penalty for that. So, like our AP Psych is a second semester course. Eco, we have micro and macro. And so the second semester courses you can register for in second semester. Traditionally, our students go ahead and register now if they're going to take those courses. There are some $40 late fees that would apply, but really, as long as we get it in and kind of have those decisions by the down payment October 9th and then the final decisions kind of November 13th, we're in good shape. And then the final payment again is due on February 12th. And again, this kind of shows you there if you're ordering on time or if we do the late order after November 13th but before March 12th, it's still the same cost per test. And there's not a penalty. In the past, there's been a penalty if you canceled after those dates, but College Board, given our circumstances right now, has waived that penalty. So there's not a cancellation fee. So again, that's another reason we really would strongly encourage you right now to have your student commit to taking the test. And then, if something in the spring comes up and they're not feeling like they're prepared for it, there's not a penalty to cancel, and you would be reimbursed. So this is what our AP exam registration form looks like. This is one side of it, and our teachers have passed those out. So your student should have gotten that this week. We've got them to teachers on Monday. believe now that they have all been passed out. This also will be included on our website, and you can reach out to us if you don't see one come home to you or the teacher. But this is the part you'll need to fill out and complete and get turned back into Mr. Gramella. And so you can see it's pretty straightforward on there. You're going to check which test your child's wishing to take. I will tell you that we have students take tests for courses they're not necessarily enrolled in. So even specifically if you have a student that's in like an on-ramps, a UT on-ramps course, sometimes they choose to sign up for AP just in case they're not feeling as comfortable with the college credit through that route. It's kind of a backup plan. Or there's other areas or contents they feel good about and they think they could go ahead and get that college credit. They can take those as well. And so then you just kind of work through the math with us on the number of exams ordered, the amount due, the deposit. Of course, it tells you the date again of October 9th, and then Mr. Gramella will work out what your final balance is to with you on February 12th. And then also on that form, it'll remind you that if a student registers for an exam and cancels before March 12th, a refund will be issued. And then once they start an exam, obviously there's no refund. So we can't get in there and think I'm not doing this, walk out of the test and get money back. It doesn't work that way. And it does need a student signature and the parent signature. This is our AP exam schedule. So it's already set. They take place in May. So they'll start May 3rd and go through May 14th. They happen here on campus, here in Tybee, and we administer those and proctor them. This schedule also will be posted on the Tybee website just so that we know May is far off. And so as you need to refer back to it, that schedule will be up there for you to see. And they're half days. So some are in the morning, some are in the afternoon. There are situations where your student might be taking one in the morning and one in the afternoon, depending on their courses. All right, and so again, first step that we need to happen right now is to fill out that registration form. So talk with your student over the weekend, make sure it's come home and that you've seen it. If they're in more than one class, you might have received more than one form. And so get that form filled out. The down payments, you can start as soon as you want. If you want to turn that in next week, that's perfectly fine. All the way through the October 9th is the deadline for that. And then again, that final payment will be due on the 12th. Any exam changes, if there's a change, an addition, or a cancellation, just make sure we communicate that with Mr. Gramella, and we want to make that March 12th deadline for College Board. And then there's the AP testing window again. This year it'll be May 3rd through May 14th. Scores come out in July. So your child will be notified of their score through College Board. So make sure if they have that College Board account that they check through that in July. It's typically the middle of July that those come in. And honestly, I get calls about them, but they go to the students first before they come to me because I get the whole campus data. And so it takes a while to compile that. So students typically receive those actually a little bit ahead of me. Okay, and then again, we always throw this in as a reminder because a lot of times at the high school, we have students who have qualified for free or reduced lunch in the past, but they don't eat here. So they don't think that that's a benefit to them, but it is a benefit. If you qualify as far as AP exam costs, dual course costs, SAT fees, and then also post-secondary and scholarships. All right, and I know we have some things in the chat. Mr. Gramella, I'm gonna let you take over in just a minute too, but here's our remind. So Mr. Gramella sets up a remind for parents and students who are signed up for the test. That's how we communicate things like when the down payments are due, when the final payments are due, when the testing's coming up. And so it's by grade level. So if you have a 10th grade student, you can see it's set up a little bit different. You can text that with the class code. 11th grade has its own remind, and then 12th grade, our seniors have their own remind for that. And all right, stop sharing. All right. Mr. Gramella, anything you can add or questions in the chat that you want to address?
There was one on the students on free and reduced lunch. As far as paying the down payment, you only owe $30. That's, you know, down payment, whatever. That's the full amount you owe is at $30. So if you can pay the $30 by that October 9th date, that's great.
Can you meet the computer?
If not, then we can work out maybe like $15 at that point, and then the other rest of the amount by the February deadline. And then
Perfect. And if you have other questions, I know we had some in the chat that have been answered, but if you have a specific question you want to unmute and ask it, you are welcome to do so. We'll try to help answer it.
And also we've upped the date a little bit on when we want the registration forms completed and everything. And the goal behind that is to go through, see who's the students who have signed up and who have not. And then we can push that out to the teachers to have them, check with the students to make sure, they may have not missed it or something. Because if we don't get students registered for it, we do not receive exams for them. And come May, we won't have anything to give them, even though they may have wanted to test us. So that's the big thing, is to try to make sure, the students who want to take the test, we get them on the list and get an exam ordered for them.
Perfect.
Ms. Arns, there was one question in the chat that I'm just going to clarify about on-ramp students. It is not uncommon for on-ramp students who are not enrolled in an AP course but want to take the AP test to still be able to do that, but it is not required for them to do that. So if you want to clarify on that, I'm sure there's additional information.
Yeah, so on-ramps courses, those students will find out during the eligibility window with UT if they're eligible to accept the college credit. And we have really high success rates there. So traditionally they do, but because AP is a fall registration timeline, we just have a couple of students every year who aren't as confident in the on-ramps piece because it's new to them, especially if it's the junior year, like a pre-cal or US history. And so they look at maybe signing up to take the test anyways, in case they don't feel comfortable about on-ramps. But it's few, it's certainly not everybody. And that's really an individual decision based on you and your student, your family, and how you're feeling about the on-ramps curriculum. Yeah, and so right now, College Board is planning to administer those tests here at Tybee in person. They also obviously have a plan in case it needs to be virtual, but right now they're moving forward with on-campus exams in May. Perfect. All right, well, you guys asked some great questions. You're welcome to reach out through email or phone call to me or Mr. Gramella or Ms. Balzer if you have any questions, and we'll try to help you out. We will get all of the AP information that we talked about today uploaded to the Tybee website, so you can look for it there probably early next week. It might be today. Ms. Redden's pretty quick on getting things on the website, but we'll get that to her and she'll push that onto our Tybee website so that you can go back and reference. But just that most important step right now is visit with your child and just get that exam form completed. Talk to them about if they're going to take the exam for that course and what they feel comfortable and confident with right now. It's early in the year, so it's kind of a hard time to make a decision on an exam because they've only been in that class 5 weeks. And that's one of the reasons we like to pull in a parent meeting and just to assure you that our teachers are well trained in the AP curriculum and the exam. And so they're going to set students up for success. They're rigorous courses. It is a lot of work, but if your child's putting in that time and effort, we would love to see that pay off with them getting the college credit at, even the 95, which, seems like it could be high compared to the college hours of three college hours, obviously is a great deal. And so we would love to get our kids, when they graduate, going in with some college hour credits, and AP is a great opportunity for that. So we will place the recording also on the website. And then that's why you guys asked all your questions in the chat.
I think there's one more question about AP exam grades affecting their course grades. It does not. And so their course grades will be long complete before those AP exam scores come back to them first and then to us. So it doesn't affect their grade in the course. But I think Ms. Arn's point is they're putting in the work. We want to see them pay off for them. But that exam never comes back to count in their on-campus grades.
Perfect. All right. Anything else in the chat, Ms. Balzer, that you've seen that maybe came to you? Okay, so exam registration form, super important right now. Mr. Gramella is the person to send the payment to. I have students bring it to me every year. It's fine if they bring it down to my office. I know where his office is and I can walk it across the hall. So that's just as easy. If you're virtual and you want to mail it in, that's fine. Or if you want to just stop by campus and drop it in the front office, we can get it to Mr. Gramella also. So I know some of you have virtual students. This information will be shared through Teams, through our AP teachers also with our virtual students. So we'll make sure they get the registration forms and everything that they need to also register for the exams. But just know you're welcome to drop it by in the office. And I'll take the money, but I'm not going to be the one responsible for it in the end. That'll be Mr. Gramella. And yes, checks are made out to Tybee High School. And it'll tell you that on the exam registration form when you see that you'll make the checks out to Tybee High School. And we can do cash, check, or credit card. So we have the Square over in the counseling office that Mr. Gramella can also take a credit card payment. So all three of those, we don't have the option right now to do the online payment. So you do have to stop by or mail it in, but we can do cash, check, and credit card. All right, well, we appreciate your time today. We don't want to take up much longer. I know it's a busy time and we're still doing everything through Zoom where we would typically have everybody face-to-face in the library, but right now we're just really limiting our visitors onto campus. And so this was really the best way to get information out to everybody. So we appreciate you guys joining us. We hope you have a fabulous weekend.